All right, good morning. Well, I told you when I came back we would work on the faces. I'm in Beautiful Fairy Tales, and it's the 12 Dancing Princesses, book 1 by Ruth Sanderson. Yeah, I'm a little groggly voice this morning, kind of gravelly. But anyway, let's carry on. I have pulled 3 different skin tones in the Marco Raffines: 520, 519, 518. The reason for this is I'm going to want their faces and hands to be a little bit different from each other. And when I do books that have realistic look to them, I want to pay attention to the backstory. So for instance, in this book, he is probably outside more than her, so I want his skin to be a tad darker. So as I'm looking at these two, these are lighter, the 519 and 520, and this 518 is a little bit darker. So I will use these two for her and then add this one in with the 518 and 519 for him. So let's go ahead and get started. The 519 appears to be the lighter one, but a lot of times you can't just go by with that on these. So I'm going to grab the swatches back out, meaning that the barrels here don't always match what they really are. So I'm going back to my swatches, and 518 is very light. Are the others right here? Nope. Which means they're probably back up here. There's 520 and 519. Okay, so 519 is actually the lightest, which is this one. Okay, and then 520 is the next darkest, and then 518 is the very darkest. Let me double check that. That and that. Yep. So that means this is them light to dark. So light to dark, it's going to be 519 is the lightest, then 520, and then 518. So I'm going to take 19 and 20, and I'm going to do her. So I'm going to start with the lightest. Actually, I'm going to do one more thing here. And I did not do this in my early on videos, but I'm going to do it here. I am going to grab this pink. It's 517. I'm going to do her cheek. It's getting lighter as it comes out. Is that even dark enough for you to see? Okay, I am going to try to zoom you in and see if it will stay focused. There we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the same color on his. Just because if he's outside, he might have that little bit of sun cast. I'm going to put even a touch on his nose. You know, just doing real here. All right, and that again was 517. Lay that to the side. And I'm going to grab my eraser and I'm going to erase it. I know it seems kind of counterproductive, but you will notice on some papers it won't erase all the way. So now they have naturally blushed cheeks. Same thing on hers. Now when I color that, they're going to look slightly blushed. Okay, so now I'm going with the lightest one, 519. And again, if you're using a different colored pencil, this is just a very light skin tone. And you can use the different pencils. You don't have to buy these pencils to work in this book. I will tell you, on this paper, you're just going to have to watch, because different pencils do work different on different papers. Okay, so I am coming through here now and doing the skin tones, and I am doing the lightest area in the grayscale, and I let it overlap into that dark some so that I have something to blend. Okay, with these tiny parts, you want to be sure that your pencils are sharp. I say that because I don't always work with the sharpest of pencils, and even I want mine sharp for this. So anywhere where it's the lightest, and then you can bleed in some into the darker areas. But if you can tell now, she's got a rosy cheek, and we didn't even have to work on that. All right, set that one over here, and I think you can see that pretty good now. So now I'm going over to the 520. You're not going to see a huge difference in this, but you will see some. So I'm going to come in now and do this darker shade. Oh yeah, it's showing up. There's a great difference. Big difference here. I'm going to go over the top of that light, just because it's going to help with the blending. Okay, so right over the top. And it will add more color to the page. And you saw in the swatches when I picked the colors, I didn't pick colors that were really way different from each other. But once you put that gray tone under there too, sometimes it's hard to cover up with light colors. Now with her, it's not so hard. It's covering nicely. And that's one reason, even though it's crappy paper, that I do like these books, because her gray tones are really nicely done. All right, so there's that. Let's come on down to the hands. Really keeping this point in there. And you can get all special if you want and work on doing those fingernails a different color. At this point, I figure it's not big enough to worry about, because this is really little. This whole thing is smaller than my pinky nail. Her whole hand is. So I'm just not going to worry about it. So like I said, I'm just going over the entire hand. Remember, this way I'm adding more layers of color instead of scooting them around with a blender. If you need a blender, use a blender. I don't necessarily need one. Now, do you see that line right there? And you can see there's an area right down here in the middle of her hand. I'm going to hold this in this hand, and I'm going to pick up the one that I picked for his face, 518, and I'm going to do right there and right in the middle. I know it's just a smidge darker, and I want to put those shadows in. And I'm going to do the same thing here, just in the middle of all this grayscale. Okay, and right here. I'm just adding a little bit more shadow in the areas that are the deepest shadows. All right, and she's done. Oops. Okay, when I said right here, I did this, this, and right here, just along the front edge. And again, it's just the darkest areas. Okay, let's move over to him. So now I'm using her darkest color, which was 520. And then my new dark is 519. Oops, 518. Okay, so 520 and 518. So I'm going to start with the lightest, which is the 518. Why do I do that to myself? Nope, 520 is the lightest. So I'm going to go with it, and let's start with his arm down here. Can I get that all on screen? Yes. All right, so the lightest area is first. And again, these are not great differences for their skin, but it should be just enough that it adds a little bit of interest or contrast. So the lightest areas. He's got 2 fingers wrapped around that are sticking out. The other 2 are folded under. And that's another problem I have encountered, is that my book is about a foot away from where I'm coloring. So sometimes it's difficult for me to get right up there and see what I'm doing. All right, now he's facing her, and evidently she's under cloud covers. Why she's got more cloud? He doesn't have the same amount. So here it's good that we've got that grayscale. Did I erase from his nose too? I don't remember. So I'm just going to erase. Remember we put that pink on there? And now they have rosy cheeks, both of them. It may not look the same to you as it does to me because you're looking through the camera, but from this side it does look very natural. All right, so I've done the lights. I'm going to go to my 518, one that's a little bit darker. And let's go down here to the hands. When you're starting with new colors, sometimes it's best to go to an area that does not show up as much. And again, I'm going over the light and dark just because the colors are so light. It'll help them blend. You can see the before and after. All right, so it's still fine. It's just I want it to be just a little bit darker. So I'm going over the light, and it's creating a third new color when it's blended. This is the shadow from his tunic. All right, next hand and arm. Now, I'm popped 2 videos out pretty close to each other, and it's because we leave for a cruise, and there will be no videos for at least 8 days. Yeah, I've not learnt if there's any way that I can pop them out there earlier with a release date. So it just is going to be what it is. But if you look along the top of the screen, If you're on your phone, there's little tabby things and you can slide over to About. And there's a place there if you'd like to make a donation. If you're on your laptop, it's right up at the top where the picture is that goes across the screen. There's a little spot there for donations. Even $1 helps, y'all. Seriously, if you really want or like these videos, it's a way that I can do more, not have to do any of my other odd jobs to help. All right, just going all around here. So you can see, for the one that requested Greyscale, and I'm sure more of you are glad that these are here, this is how easy Greyscale is. It just is easy. If you get a good Greyscale. Okay, there are some out there that are not good. I'm sorry, they're not. And the best thing you're going to be able to do is just go look at them or read the reviews. If you're looking through Amazon, just going through there, just look at those reviews. People will tell you. Now, I'm going to pick up the same pink that I used for the cheeks, or should we go with a different one? I'm thinking that one may be too bright for him. We may need something a little more subdued. So I'm just looking through my swatches, and he may get something. Let's look at 517, if I can put my fingers on it. I used to have these in color order, but the more you use them, you know, they do get out of order. Okay, let's see. 508. I'm sorry. I should have pulled this ahead of time, but a lot of times y'all want to know what's really going on with me coloring, and this is how it is. Okay, 517 is actually what I used on his cheeks. Now I'm going to get a pinker pink for hers. So here we go, 2 different pinks. See, this one is a more dull, the 517. I'm just going to put his lip in. And they're so tiny, y'all, ever so tiny. There you go. And then with hers, I'm going to use this 513. Okay, it's a pinky pink, but she is our fair maiden. We want her lips a little more pink. All right, and I am happy with that. Eyebrows get done when the hair gets done. All right, so just a heads up on that. But that's it for right now. Let's see if we can zoom back out. And there you have it. Okay. Just work with it. Take your time. But if you've got a good Greyscale, you're not going to have problems. If you have a Greyscale that's giving you problems, you can leave a comment down below. Tell me the name of the book, who the artist is, and that you're having problems with it. And I will see if there's not, if I have that, or if I have any tricks or hints or anything about the book. You know, maybe I can give you some insight. And it may be something as simple as, yeah, I'm sorry, live and learn. Because a lot of times before I will buy a book on Amazon, I will go through and read so many reviews. If there's not reviews, I will call Barnes & Noble and see if they'll order the book for me. If they order it, I don't have to buy it. You know, I'm not required to buy. And so sometimes they'll get it in and I'll take a look at it and then I'll decide if it's something I want or not and then go back to Amazon. And the good thing is it puts it right there in Barnes & Noble so the next person can come and look at it and decide. So anyway, that's all I've got for you today. I know it was short, but hopefully it's some useful information for you there. And I will talk to y'all somewhere around the river bend. All right? Okay, talk to you later. Bye.